If I Had Legs I'd Kick You is about a woman whose life is literally falling apart around her while she's contending with a child with a mysterious illness, a missing person, and an increasingly hostile relationship with her therapist. It would the seed of it came from me having a very stressful experience with my daughter's health um, when she was 7 years old. And the way that I sort of dealt with it at the time was I started writing this movie with no expectation of what it would be or what it could be. And when I finished the script, it really was a 7 year um, journey. I was going to say that I wasn't going to ever say the word journey, and I just said it. But it really was. It took 7 years from the time I first started writing until sitting here today. And it was a really, it was just tenacity that got me here. It was just I need to make this movie. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. If I had ever listened to one of the no's, then it wouldn't be.
Did you have to wait for Rose? Did you wait for Rose?
I did wait for Rose. Well, I'll tell you something. Lots of people waited for Rose because I had casted, so Conan and Rocky were already on, fully committed. And then I wanted Rose, and she was doing a season of television. And I said to Conan and Rocky, I still want you guys, but we're going to wait for Rose to finish her season and have a rest. And then, and they were like, what? Yeah, we'll wait. Of course we'll wait whenever you want us. So they blocked out a time, a year in advance. But that year was also a gift because during that year I was able to work with my DP, Chris Messina, and really just figure out the whole. It was kind of like a gift of time because A24 was making the movie. It was happening. We were just waiting for Rose to be ready, and so I used all that time. Which is good because when you're making a movie like this, the shooting was 27 days. But the amount of time I was able to work and prepare was it was really like a full year.
As a viewer, I've always been drawn to, or with novels or anything, I've always loved the darker side of things, and often something like Physical or obviously our movie, Mary's movie, the humor in these situations when they're so incredibly heightened and the tension is so high, and these stories that as a woman I very much related to, as a mother, Mary's script very, very much spoke to me. But what's been interesting over the last 24 hours is people who can relate to the movie who aren't mothers, who just the experience of trauma of caretakers, of trauma of any sort of situation where you cannot get on top of your life and something tiny will make it all crumble. And the movie is obviously a experiential kind of thing. It's hard to, it is a movie about an experience. And I feel like Mary has achieved that so beautifully in the finished product.
What's the symbolism behind the hole in the ceiling?
Well, I annoyingly don't like to give a direct answer to that because I would like people to, I feel like for everybody that comes into the movie theater, they're bringing their own sort of answer to that. But I will say that it represents the deepest, darkest part of Linda's mind, where everything that she kind of should be dealing with and needs to deal with, for her not to be going through the torture that she's going through, is pushed. And there's something happening metaphysically with the universe where it's forcing her to contend with it at this exact point. And it's a fight. Yeah.
It's a fight.
And then
It is.
what was your approach to the whole thing that the child, we don't see the child.
You don't see the child, yeah.
Your approach.
Well, it's funny because for me, she was there.
She
and
was
all
there.
my scenes were with Delaney. She was very much my scene partner. Everything she gave me, I reacted off, so for us, I read with her when she came in, like it was we had a process with her. So it felt like she's part of the whole part of the experience to me. So when I saw the movie, I know, and you obviously knew about the conceit to do it. I was I was like, is this going to work? And I knew Mary was like, this is my idea. I'm really, and it's a big, bold swing. And I felt it paid off. I just felt it paid off. It just committed to this perspective of the mother. It's the mother's experience of this trauma, not the child's. As Mary says, that's hers to tell if and when, and this is the mother's sole experience of that. And it's again, I feel it's very much achieved from as soon as you sit down to start to watch the movie. I feel like you should strap yourself in because it's so compelling.
Yeah, we did have Delaney Quinn, who plays the child, who's
Yes, Delaney Quinn, I should
so
say.
talented and so lovely to work with. She was there in every scene. It was not like dubbed in later. She was there for every scene, and I felt that was very important for what Rose is saying. I never wanted her to perform off of nothing. All the phone call scenes are live performed, and that just as an actor, I just think that's so important to get that kind of performance.
And then Conan.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's acted before. I think he has, but I mean, it's not.
He played like Andy Warhol in the Weird Al movie. I feel like he played like Andy Warhol. He just put a wig on. I don't know, but he's been in that. He's done that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's never done this sort of thing ever, and was very honest with me about that. When I approached him as someone who had been a fan since his show first aired, like in the early '90s. And he seems like one of those showbiz untouchable guys, I had the idea and I sent him the script and I wrote him a letter and we met on Zoom and he was like, look, I really want to do this. I don't know if I can do this. I might be really bad. If you want to do this with me, if I'm bad, you can fire me and we'll still be friends, I swear. And I was like, no, you can do it. And then we had a very intensive process where I went out to LA. I live in New York. And every day we worked together for 3 or 4 hours for a week, and it was to prepare for the movie, but it also, frankly, was for me to show him that he can do it.
Wow.
And it was a wonderful creative experience. The man is so generous of spirit and time, and just he has one of those attitudes towards life where he's like, I've never done that before. Yeah, that's the reason to do it. Let me do it. Okay, no one ever asked me, so okay, let's see. And it turns out that he is, it's no joke, he is he is very skilled at acting. People are going to be surprised. It's not what they expect.